So still,一半的时间过掉了，我想，所以下次读一次课好。Okay, still no voice, or can you hear me?
Yes, now.
Okay, yes, now. Okay, I'm so sorry. Probably we should. Okay, give me short feedback. Should we continue now, or it's now okay, right? Yeah, probably we should have organized a makeup class. And for today's class, it's already more than half hour. And okay, so let me start from the very beginning, and we will organize some makeup class in the future, but not now, not this week. And share. No, so this one, where is it? Okay. I'm sorry, it's already more than half hour. And so as I mentioned earlier, we should have a makeup class, 补一次课了. Okay, to in the future, and probably next week or sometime a little bit later. And so yeah, so let me repeat what I said in the past half hour. I assume everybody is over there, so I started as normal in time, but it simply didn't work. And okay, now let's come back to the beginning of today's class. And we are going to section 2 about the welfare change. Okay.
They have some feedback they will tell you.
Okay, thank you. If I have problem, I'll get back to you. Thank you. Okay, let's start from. Okay, thank you. Okay, good. Okay, and we just some technician came to my office to fix the problem. That's a disaster and really terrible. Okay, so we are going to section 2. And at the end of last class, we still have something left about the so-called law and economics, how the economists try to change the way the legal studies, the legal scientists, the law science are doing their job. And we will leave that topic in the future, and we will not spend more time on that one. And now let's go to section 3. That's about the theory of welfare economics. And in this section, we are going to cover 3 topics. And 3 topics. And one is the basic concept about what's optimal for the whole society. And so what's optimal for the whole society means it's optimal for everyone. And everyone, you just be careful about what do you mean by it's optimal for everybody. And we will organize our study of optimal for everybody in 3 steps. And we call the first step as exchange optimal. That is, let's focus on the market. In the market, some people are buying, some people are selling. They are exchanging. And we look at what's the condition for the people to get into an optimal exchange process. This is about how to describe, how to make a judgment about the market part. And before we can exchange, we need to produce the products or service we are exchanging with each other first. To produce, and then we can exchange. And then also look at the so-called social production. We study how to organize the production part in the optimal, in the best way for the whole society. And then we put the two concepts, exchange optimal and production optimal, all together, we call top level. So this is the first one. This is about everybody is happy. That's the first concept. The second one is, unfortunately, in reality is usually much more complicated than theory. We are not living in such a wonderful world. Everybody is happy. Instead, we live in such reality that is, and some situation, some people are happy, and another situation, some other people are happier. Then which option we should go ahead, we should go to? So let me quickly give you an example. Just imagine Macau government is now facing a bigger choice. The bigger choice is, suppose, so Macau government now has $1 million, $1 million. That's public money. This money can be spent on either build up a new library or to build up a new sports center, a bigger gym. Okay, and now the problem is the money is limited, only 1 million. So therefore you can't. So perhaps 1 million is not enough for a big library. Let's just discuss, and let's assume just 1 million for a library and also for a sports center. And so now the problem is, if we build up a library, who are happy? Students, university level, high school level, primary school level, even kindergarten kids, students, and also the teachers in high school or university, whatever. The teachers and the students are happy about the library, and also some parts of the citizens. Whatever job they're doing, they like to go to library, build up a good library. That's important for their life quality. So that's choice A. And another choice is sports center. Who enjoy? The sporty people who really enjoy and love sport. And now, to simplify the discussion, let's focus on two groups of people. Group one, you guys, students, and me, and the teachers. We like, the library option. And for some other people, for example, construction workers, 建筑工人, okay? Probably they don't have much time reading books. They don't need a library so much. Instead, they like to have a new sports center. They can just do a lot of exercise. So now the problem is, if we go to the library, then compared to going to the sports center, our welfare increase. We are better off, and the library option compared to the sports center choice. So therefore, when we change from sports center choice to the library choice, students' welfare increase. Okay, and let me. Try to clear up this one. Okay, and so the problem is, if we go to the sports, compared to the sports center, and we change the option from sports center to the library, students' welfare increase, and the workers' welfare decrease. So therefore, wherever we go, whatever we do, and some people happy, some people are not. So therefore, we need to organize a sort of transfer of benefit. We call this a compensation, 补偿, okay, from the people who are happy about the change to the people who are not happy. For example, if we give up gym and to go to library choice, we are the winner. The workers are the losers. If our benefit is big enough, we don't care to give some money to the workers. We buy the service, we pay, okay? And if the payment is not that bigger compared to the benefit we can get from the library, we don't care, okay? And at the same time, if the money we give to the workers is big enough for the workers to be happy about the change from sport center to the library, they are also happy. So therefore, in this case, if the winner's benefit is big enough compared to the loser's loss, then we should make the change. This is improvement for the society. But this improvement is different from Pareto improvement. Pareto improvement or Pareto optimal means everybody is happy. But this one means some people are happy, some people are not. But the point is, if the people who are happy can get enough benefit and to share such benefit with the people who are not happy, then we can still make an improvement. So there's two different ideas of optimal. And unfortunately, in reality, we're usually facing this problem. Okay, we make a choice. To make a choice means to give up other choices. Then some people will suffer because they are more happy. They are happier with the choice we give up compared to the choice we make. So therefore, we need to give them a sort of compensation. And then that's where we live. But you know, this is very troublesome. This is a very difficult situation to handle. And later on, we will explain in classroom, hopefully after we resume the normal teaching activity in classroom, then we can have a much better interaction, have a lot of feedback from you. We can draw a lot of figures in the whiteboard and we make a much more lively and lovely discussion. And after that, you will appreciate, you will understand it's really, really, really difficult, really challenging job to solve the problem and this situation. And then how to overcome such difficulty, how to solve such a difficult, very difficult problem. And then we economists have a very simple way to solve the problem. And I know, and each option of library and sport center, some people happy, some people not. But eventually, economists ask a very childish, very simple, but a very smart question. Can we measure the social welfare change? When we change from sport center to the library policy, I know some people are happy, some people are sad. But the problem is, can we measure the social welfare change by a number? If this number is positive, then that means for the whole society, for everybody's welfare to be taken into account, is a good thing. The total welfare, somehow measured, increase. Then, if that positive, we should go ahead. If negative, we should give up. Can we measure that way? Can we measure such welfare by a simple by a single number? The answer is, in quite a general situation, we can. The idea is consumer surplus. And I believe everybody has learned something. You have some basic knowledge about consumer surplus from basic level or intermediate level economics. But for our course, welfare economics, we will bring back, we will give a new life. We will, provide much more insight and discussing on the power of this idea, consumer surplus. And we will argue, or whatever, all the trouble we have, don't worry much about it. We have a simple way to measure the social welfare by money. Okay, that's what we are going to do in this section, section 2. And at the moment, probably some students have trouble understanding what's the connection between topic 1, topic 2, and topic 3. And so don't worry much about it at the moment. Eventually, you will have a much clearer and a much better understanding of the whole picture. And basically, this one gives us fundamental concept. This is where we should go. But the trouble is, in reality, it's very challenging to go there because of this trouble. And the simple way to go there is to focus on one single number. So basically, this is the target. That's where we should go. But we have a lot of trouble. And how to solve the trouble, how to overcome this trouble, solve the problem, go using dollar, using money, using single number to measure the change. Then we solve the problem. Okay, that is the key idea. And if you have some small problem in understanding the logic, don't worry. Eventually we will solve all the problem one by one. But now let's go to the minutes. Let me try to. Okay, now let's start from the Pareto optimal. What does that mean? And we will organize our discussion around the three conceptual discussion and illustration at exchange level, at production level, at the so-called overall top level. But this part at the very beginning, difficult to understand. Let's introduce the real story, this real story, which is taking place, which is happening in Macau. Okay, now come back to our city. In Macau society or anywhere you can imagine, basically for the whole society to have a good life, we needed to produce something. Okay, that's products. We needed to organize the social and economic production to produce some goods we can consume. And how to do that? We need some resources. We are making use of resources to produce products and then put the products into the hand of the people. Okay, and I don't know what's happening to the system. It's all okay. And now let's simplify the story. Starting from the bottom line, we have some resources. We have a lot of workers we call labor. And we also have other resources. We generalize all the non-labor resources as capital. We call capital. This is C, but in German, we call K, but usually economics, we use K. That's coming from German, actually. And we simplify the story about how much resource we Macau people have. We have some labor, we have some capital. Here, capital should be interpreted broadly and including everything, not included in labor. We have a material, we have some water, we have some electricity, we have some money as capital. So therefore, here, let me draw something. So here, sorry, let me. So we have some labor, we have some capital. We organize the social production to produce X and Y. Here again, if you look at the reality, in Macau society, if you go to the supermarket, we have more than 1 million different products. But to simplify the story, let's consider the situation. We have only 2 goods. One for, for eating and drinking, and another for dress up. Okay, this is kind of the closest. This is for food, and we organize the production first by using some labor to produce X and some capital to produce Y. At the same time, we are also organizing the social production of Y by using some labor and using some capital. Okay, so for this part, what are we doing? We are producing, we are organizing social production. And how to organize the social production in a good way, in an efficient way. This is so-called production efficiency, or we call technical efficiency. We should organize our production in a smart way, in an efficient way. This corresponding to this topic, how to organize the production. But the production itself is useless, unless we can consume. Why are we producing? Because we are producing for the consumption. If we never consume, it's silly, it's stupid to produce. So therefore, after we finish up the production, we need to put the goods for 2 persons. One we call Alice, probably that's a lady. This one we call Bob. Again, here we highly simplify the story. In Macau society, we have 3/4 million people. That's a big number, even though it's not that big compared to other, much larger cities like New York, like Beijing, like Hong Kong, and still it's a big number. But it's enough to consider 2-person story, because 2-person story is already rich enough for economists. Because the 2 persons may have conflict of interest. They do not necessarily agree with each other. Most importantly, they are 2 different persons. Difference in economic term means they have different preference. Probably the ladies care more about the dress up compared to food, but the gentleman, or probably not that gentle, the males are more, in general, more care about the food compared to ladies, then caring about the dress up. It's not always true, but in general, that's true. But here, the key point is Alice and Bob, they are 2 different persons. They have different preference. And then after we organize the social production, we should put the products X, sum of X, into the hand for Alice. and also some Y into the hand of Alice. At the same time, some X go to B and some Y. So now, if you look at this picture, what are we doing? We are starting from materials, from resources, and we end up at good life. This is our life. This is a sort of intermediate step we produce in order to transform labor and capital into happiness, into consumption. And this is the story we might call face. And this is also the story faced by any society, by any economy. Okay, we have some material, we have some resources, we organize the production, and then we organize exchange. What's really, really, really difficult, really complicated part is this part. This part is the market. This part is exchange. Why? Come back to reality. You know, after we organize the production, and usually some people have much more X, some other people have much more Y. For example, you can imagine if this agricultural products, okay, this is the industry products. The agricultural products are basically produced by the farmers in the countryside. This one is produced by workers in the city. Then, so therefore, how can we put some X into the hands of Alice and Bob and Y in the hand of Alice and Bob as well? Sometimes, if Alice is the farmer, Bob is the city workers. Bob had a lot of Y, Alice had a lot of X, but eventually Alice also needed to consume some Y. Bob needed to consume some X. How can they do that? They exchange. I give you something, you give me something back. This exchange could be organized by the government, could be organized by the market. And in general, we organize this part of the story in the market. So now, how to organize the whole story in a smart way, in an optimal way? We need to do three things. One, carefully organize production, this part. This is about production. And two, carefully organize exchange part. After we organize production, we need to make sure we put all the products in the right way into the hand of the consumers. So this is about exchange. Okay, that's not the end of the story. And we need to make sure we solve this problem, and we also solve this problem, but we must solve the two different problems in a consistent way, in a compatible way. That is, to solve this problem and to solve this one separately is not enough. We need to make sure we solve this problem and this problem in a consistent way. That is, we organize this part in the best way and this part. But the point is, X and Y, for the production optimal, we may have many different optimal solutions, okay? But some of them may be not the best as far as consumers are concerned. So therefore, we need to make sure we organize the two parts, not only in the best way for each of them, but for the whole society for the whole process altogether. So this is the so-called optimal level. So therefore, we are going to study this picture. I hope you will keep in mind this picture when we are going through this topic, Pareto optimal. And okay, and let me clear this one. I'm sorry if we wasted more than half hour. I talk a lot. I didn't realize nobody is over there. But now let's quickly go to this part. And you know, in reality, we going this way and starting from resources, producing and then consume. But for our discussing and also for economists, what's really important is this part. That is the exchange optimal part. So therefore, we will spend much more time on the exchange optimal and much less time on, on the production optimal. And for the exchange optimal, and we simplify the story again, let me repeat, by considering two goods and two-person story. This is the so-called two times two model or 2 times 2 story. Two persons and two goods. And usually this way, this simple way of telling the complex story is very powerful and very useful. And we consider this one. We organize our story into a simple box, which we will draw something like this. And we will give more detailed discussion in next. I will carefully check with the technician before next class to make sure everything is perfect. I don't know what's going on with the computer system. And so the basic idea is we have this much for X. And I think most of you have already learned something about Edwards box. And next class, we can quickly go through this box and then focus on the exchange optimal. And here, this is Alice. This is the bird. And now, for example, we have 100x and 50y. Okay, and this is what we have for the whole society. In this whole society, we have only two persons, A and B. But now the point is, and for any point here in this box, and we can interpret the story in such a way, and this part stands for how much X among the 100 units for X Alice has. And this number means the quantity had by Alice. And the left, the rest, you know, this is 100. We give up this one, probably this 80 to Alice, and 20 left. This 20 is how much X Bob has. And similarly, this number, this Y is how much Y Bob has. So therefore, this is a very simple way to tell the two-person, two-good story. Any point in the box stands for some way of distribution of the two goods among the two persons. And here, at this point, let me check the time, and probably I should stop. And okay, we will not continue. And if you don't have class after this one, we can spend a little bit more time because, we wasted a lot of time at the very beginning. Let me quickly check. How many of you are needed to go to another class in hurry? Give me short feedback. If nobody, let's continue our class for probably 10 or 15 minutes. And otherwise, we need to have a makeup class that will cause a lot of trouble too. Is okay? Give me short feedback. Okay, I will continue. If you need to go, just go ahead and okay, 1点有另外的 should be enough. Okay, we will not spend too much time. And let me to. Okay, good. Thank you for the feedback. And otherwise, we need to organize a makeup class that will take a lot of coordination job. Okay, now let's continue our discussion for exchange optimal. And so this is the simple way to tell exchange story. At this moment, what happened? So intuitively, at this moment, for Alice, too many X, too few Y, too much X, too little Y. Okay, for Bob had a lot of Y compared to X, but Bob had very few X. For example, this is apples, this is the chicken eggs. And then they can exchange with each other to make everybody happy. So now, how to organize the exchange in the optimal way? At this point, Alice had the incentive to exchange X for Y. Bob had the incentive to exchange Y for X. And now let's focus on let's call the girl Alice. What happened to Alice? For Alice, let's draw the indifferent curve. Sorry. Let's, okay, anyway. So now let's focus on Alice. So for Alice, so this is the indifference curve. And this is how much Alice has at the very beginning. We call this XA. And this is YA for Alice. And the indifference curve comes through this one. So therefore, if Alice can exchange with Bob and to go somewhere from this point to anywhere, for example, here, then this point is above this indifference curve. So clearly, that will be a good thing for Alice, because Alice's utility will increase from such change. And now let's turn to Bob. For Bob, again, let's focus, sorry. You can imagine for Bob, we can draw another indifference curve. Look, here you must be careful. When we consider Bob the situation, Bob the indifference curve is convex to this point, because for Bob, this is original point. the indifferent curve is convex to the original point. So therefore, this is the indifferent curve. And now if we go, sorry, I just very badly drawn. And from this point to this point, for bulb is also a good thing because this point is above this indifferent curve. So I should draw maybe somewhere here. So for example, they are starting from this point. Forget about this short line. Focus on this long line. If they are going from this point to this point, what's the consequence? The consequence is Alice is happy. Bob is also happy. Okay, because this is above this indifferent curve for Alice and above this indifferent curve for Bob. So therefore, clearly this point is better than this point for everybody. But the point is, when we make such a change, can they make another improvement, another change to make everybody happy? The answer depends on where they are. If the exchange is not that big, only go to this one, what happened? Again, you can consider what's the indifferent curve for Alice. Sorry, I'm drawing very badly. And also the indifferent curve for Bob, probably like this one. And then this shape is like a small fish. The bigger fish is here. And now after the exchange in the first step, then now we're facing another smaller fish. This smaller fish means they still have some chance. They still have some opportunity to make a better exchange with each other until they don't have any such opportunity anymore. Okay, if they don't have any opportunity to make everybody happier, that means they are already in the optimal. That is, they are already at the exchange optimal. Okay, so this is the key idea. And so probably before next class, I will prepare some carefully drawing figure, and then we can make much more discussing about, graphically speaking, what's the so-called exchange optimal. We just draw figures, and then based on the figure, we discuss economics, the economic logical, without any mathematics. Once we make it clear, we know already, economically, the economic logical, the economic thinking, the economic sense, the economic reason. We know what we mean by exchange optimum. Then we formulate our discussing in mathematical terms. Okay, and so that's what we plan to do. Next class, again, we come back to this box. We discuss the figure. We tell the story. And particularly, we focus on where they can go as far as possible. Okay, as far as possible means they cannot make any further change. They're already at the optimal level. And then we carefully, look at the situation at the optimal solution, and what can we learn from economist perspective without any mathematics. We get some insight, we get some idea, and then we are using mathematics to check whether or not it's true. So here, let me emphasize, in our class, in the future, we will repeatedly use this strategy in our learning, in our study. Firstly, we look at economics, okay, purely based on economic thinking. Secondly, we put the economic idea into figure, into graph, like this. We just keep drawing a lot of figures. And then that will help us intuitively understand the economic logic. And then finally, we are using math. So therefore, mathematics, in some sense, is a very powerful way, is a very rigorous way, but also sometimes it's a very stupid way. It's a very silly way. We use math to confirm what we know already. We know from economic perspective, but we need some mathematics to help us to confirm that's really true. Okay. And then after we are using economics, figures, mathematics, we come back to economics again. Particularly, we come back to economic policy and to come back to social welfare function, how to organize the exchange in such a way to maximize the social welfare function. Okay, that's what we are planning to do. And the topic of exchange optimal in next 2 classes, I think we need 2 more classes because this exchange optimal is the most important part for Pareto optimal. And come back to the very beginning, we organize our study for optimal in 3 steps: exchange, production, and bring together exchange and production. But we spend much more time on exchange and much less time on production because what we learn from exchange optimal can be easily applied to the study of production optimal. So therefore, what we learn here is very useful to deal with this problem. We will not spend much time on this one. And then also useful for bring together the 2 optimal. This is top level. So that's what we're going to do. And let me quickly go through this one. Unfortunately, we didn't have much time to give much more detail. And also I have some interesting story to share with you about the Eddie Wasbucks, who discovered this and why and for what purposes. Probably next class, we will share some interesting story on this one. And then we also give some math, and then that's what we are planning to do. Okay, given that, probably we will not need to organize another makeup class, but I will carefully check with the technician about the problem. And my computer caused much trouble to me. The last class it seemed to be okay, but I don't know why it's not again. Okay, that's for today. I really apologize for the trouble to you and to me as well. really annoying. Okay, thank you. So that's all for today.